Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today's episode is one you won't want to miss. We have the privilege of sitting down with a true master of freelancing in the United Arab Emirates as he shares his invaluable experiences, insights and tips for thriving in the world of freelancing amidst the dynamic landscapes of the UAE. Joining us is Sameh Bijo, an exceptional talent in the fields of animation, motion graphics and visual effects. Now, I know this video may seem lengthy, but fear not. We have thought ahead and organized it into different sections, so you can easily navigate to the parts that intrigue you the most or skip ahead if you prefer. Without further delay, let's jump right into this captivating conversation with Sameh Bijo. Get ready to be inspired. So welcome to this video. Today we are talking about freelancing in the media industry. For that reason, I have a friend of mine, Sameh Bijo. He has been a freelancer for a long time here in UAE. He's gonna share with us his own experience and what he have to went through for all this year being a freelancer. So thank you, Sameh, for being with us today.
Thank you.
And I will ask you a couple of questions, and you tell us about a little bit about yourself first, and then we take it from there. And I will ask you some of the questions I have prepared for you, and share your experience.
Sure. Well, my name is Sameh Bijo. I started doing freelancing since 2013 here in UAE, 2013, 2014. And it's been quite a tough journey, but I'm now in a good position where I say like the business is sustainable, more or less. I have good clients, clients that they come back, which is most important. And those kind of clients, what keeps you going. And before that, I tried to start a company with other partners. It didn't work the way we expected, so I decided to start by myself. I felt comfortable doing freelancing because you have, as a freelancer, you have to make your own decisions. But way less responsibility than owning your own company, because being a freelancer and having a company is somehow related, somehow similar, because they are both the same business. You're managing your own expenses, you're managing your own income. But having a company, you have to worry about your income and your employees' income.
Yeah, the overhead.
Yeah. Exactly.
The company, so
other people in the company. But when you're a freelancer, you worry only about yourself and your equipment, which is less responsibility. But at the same time, you're also responsible of your own income. You make your own decisions with that influences your business, your clients,
life.
Your growth,
your lives in general.
Your life in general, yeah. So I felt more comfortable doing freelancing, and I'm still feeling more comfortable doing freelancing rather than starting a company. Also, being a freelancer gives you the opportunity to be part of a team. Like when you're working for a client, you are a one person that doing a certain task. So you're part of the team, a bigger team. And that's nice because you get to share the experience, you get to learn more, you get to experience more, rather than you're a company, then you have to do all the task, all the job, then you have like more bigger structure, which is also nice, but like it depends on what personality you have.
Yeah.
If you want to manage a company or to manage your business as a freelancer.
And what about, because being a freelancer, you have the chance to work with different people. So you have different clients. So maybe you are part of one team one day, and next day you are in a different location, in a different,
different tasks, different nature, different work nature, different people,
exactly.
Different policy, different strategy for the company.
It's very interesting.
It is very interesting. Sometimes it's better interesting, sometimes it's worse interesting. It depends on the client. Sometimes you been thrown in a project that you have to organize everything by yourself. And sometimes you work on a project with a company that's completely organized. They have their own system, they've been doing it for years, so they know what to expect from you. and you only focus on what you have to do rather than focusing on managing other kind of stuff while you're doing your creative job.
Okay, let's start with the first question is, when is the right time to quit your job if you have in mind to be a freelancer?
I get this question a lot, and people ask me, how did I decide to become a freelancer? And I think there's no right answer for this. In my experience, I always wanted to be independent. I always wanted to make my own decisions, and you don't get the chance to do that when you're a full-time employee and you have a manager who's making all the decisions. And I think it comes to a point that you start to feel like you wanna do your own thing, and I think that's the moment when you'll need to start to think about what is the next step. For some people, the next step would be joining a bigger company or getting a higher position. In animation business, I don't think there are like so many higher positions, especially here in UAE. I saw animators and supervisors, and that's it. You don't have positions like a senior lead animator.
Maybe become a director or art director or
Art, yeah, but art director is someone who doesn't do animation. So if that's something that you want to do, you're becoming in a different position. You're not growing as an animator. And so it's completely personal decision. But when it comes the right time, I don't think it's wise. Maybe it worked for some people. I don't know anybody who worked like that, who graduate from school to start immediately doing freelancing. I don't think this is the right decision or the wise decision everywhere, not even in UAE, not only in the UAE. In Dubai, it's better to start full-time first, and for a couple of years to learn how things goes, how the business goes, how much is too much work and how much is not a lot of work, what is a good quality, what's not good quality, what the client needs, what the client mostly focus on, and how to deal with the client, what's the formalities and emails and all kind of stuff. You will only learn this if you do a full-time job and you absorb the environment around you. And you know that you are working in full-time, and you get to learn a lot from your colleagues, from your manager, from your
for each project as well. Yeah.
For every project, it's a unique project, unique experience. And once you do enough from that, let's say a year or 2 years, then you might be able to be ready to start as a freelancer. Because like beside the knowledge, which you will get in the first couple of 2 years, you need to be secure. Also, it depends on your status. Do you have a family? Are you single? Are you alone? Are you responsible only on yourself, or you're supporting someone else, which is the case with a lot of people in the UAE. You have to support your parents or your family.
Yeah.
Because becoming a freelancer holds its kind of risks. Because when you quit your full-time job, there's no, I wouldn't say there's no security, because we will come to discuss this, but there's no stable income. Because people will tell you that there's no stability in, there's no stability in doing freelancing. I disagree with this, because there's no stability in anywhere.
Life in general.
In general, like
there's no guarantees.
There's no guarantees. You can do your full-time job for a year or two, and then suddenly you're fired, or the business is not going well. So stability is relative. It depends on the place that you're at, and that's the same if you're a freelancer or a full-timer. But the consistency of the income, that can be different.
Can vary.
Yeah. So when you're a freelancer, you have to consider that you might not get an income for months,
Yeah.
and you might get an income, a consistent one, which when you're lucky. So before you quit and decide to become a full-time freelancer, you should consider that there's times that you will not have an income for maybe for a few months. So you just need to be sure that you have enough savings to cover your basic expenses.
A net to, in any case, safety
Exactly.
net.
In case you didn't get the projects for the next like 4 or 5 months. So when you have that enough income, then you can say, okay, I'm ready now to quit and start my own journey. Also, to answer the question, which is when is the right time to to quit your job and become a freelancer? The right time is when you feel like you have enough, you know enough people, you have good network of people and clients that can bring you enough jobs. You can start building that while you're doing your full-time job. You don't have to quit to start doing this. So you can you can connect with people. You can be present online. You can have your work distributed everywhere, so people will get to see you. So when you feel like you have enough connections, then that's maybe a good time to start your own journey.
Yeah, and when do you feel that you have enough connection? How you can feel that? How many people? Did we say in math?
Good question.
5 people, 10 people?
Good question. You'll get approached. People will start contacting you and asking you to do jobs for them, and you need to follow up. Where did they learn about you? Did they see your job online or not? Or it's a word of mouth? Did they learn about you from someone else? I think you can you will know by like in few months, you will see how much people you got
Traction you get.
reached you, like to ask you to do jobs. And I think this is how you measure, like, okay, I have enough connection, I can start by my own. You will feel it.
So summarizing, to answer completely the question, so you say the right time to quit your job and you feel that you are ready. So first, so there is like two group of people. One is the fresh graduates that they need to go to a studio or a boutique or a production company or something like that, and spend 2 years, 1 or 2 years to gain experience in the field.
Yeah.
And then they learn the craft. They go through a lot of projects and they meet people and they have experience in projects. And then the other group of people is people that have been doing this for a long period of time. They are
Employees,
veterans. They know a lot of the craft, so they have a lot of experience. And then they decide this is the right time.
Yeah.
But and to be sure that they can do it or the right moment to do it is when they have first enough saving.
Yeah.
For take care of themselves for a long period of time, let's say 6 months.
Yeah.
And their family.
Yeah.
The support ones. And then the other part is enough contacts, clients,
network
that can refer them to gain jobs and then have like a consistent income similar to what they have in their previous job.
Yeah.
That's what you recommend.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Besides also having your own gears, your own machines, your own equipment.
Yeah, very important.
Being an animator, you have to consider having a good machine that can finish the job on time and so forth. But that's given, so this is why I didn't mention it.
Yeah, your right system, so you can.
Yeah.
You are not stopped by any external. You don't depend on anything. You don't
rely on anybody. So you have to be able to do it in your place with your own gear.
And now you talk a little bit about the pros and cons about freelancing. So let's start with the pros. So mention the pros and what you like about being freelancing.
Yeah.
All the good things. And then we go to the other side and we talk about what you hate and what's coming with the responsibility of being freelance.
Freelancing is a lifestyle. You need to be ready and you need to accept this lifestyle. And it's not easy to handle, but for me, it's so much fun because I can get to make my own decisions, decide my own strategy in building my business. And that's so much fun for me. And it gives you the freedom completely. You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
And you will see the results of your decisions. So you're a businessman in the creative industry. So I enjoy this a lot, and for me this is amazing. And now there's the time flexibility, I would say, because people will think that you're a freelancer, you control your own time. That's not very accurate. It's actually the opposite. You don't have a controlled time. You don't work from 9 to 5 or from 8 to 7. You have your time basically is controlled by the client. If you have a job, you have to do it. If you have to commit to do it, the job, and spend as much time as needed for this job. So that's a thing that you start to adapt to at some point. But it's so much fun when you don't have any tasks, when you don't have any jobs. Then it's time for you, and you can use this time to build your own project or to develop your own skills, or to go for a vacation or to have fun. It's a good thing when you have a client who doesn't care about your timing, meaning like they don't care how much time you spend a day, as long as you finish the task. That's the best. Where you can decide to go to the gym in the morning and then go and do your work in the afternoon, or go and do your all daily tasks in the morning and then work in the night, as long as you deliver the job. This is the best scenario. And then yes, you have the time flexibility. I like this a lot, and it's so much fun when you can plan things in unusual timing, in the morning or in the afternoon, and then you can work and recover in the evening. That's one of the good things about doing freelancing. It's the flexibility of the time. What else I love about it is the variation with tasks, with jobs. I'm doing animation. I do motion graphics, visual effects, and 3D animation and 2D animation. I covered all kind of animation tasks. So it's so much fun to do different tasks for different clients. You have different creative input, and you learn a lot, so much more than being in one company and doing only specific kind of tasks. And that's so much fun because you get your knowledge to expand so much more, and the excitement of doing different type of projects. And that's, for me, it's amazing.
Yeah, this is the challenge of how to learn for different tasks.
Definitely. So this is what I love about doing this.
So you like the freedom, and you like you like the control that you have over the task, because they hire you because they trust you and you can deliver.
Yeah.
And you like the way that they can only care about how you deliver you deliver the project, but they don't care about how you do it. So it's up to you to come up with a solution for the project and deliver on time with the quality that it requires.
Yeah.
But how much time you can spend 1 hour or 3 days, they don't care.
Yeah.
That's the best next level of expectation from a client.
It doesn't happen so often, but it happens sometimes.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
And then that's all for the good side. So anything else that you love?
Well,
like the obvious, like maybe also you earn more being a freelancer than being an employee. Do you think that's true? Or?
The earning it depends on you. I know people who are doing much worse, who did much worse financially as freelancers
Employee.
than a full-time job. It depends. It depends on your network. It depends on your skills. It depends on how advanced you are. It depends on a lot of things. But I would say it's the same. It's the same, a little bit better if you're a freelancer. But again, it's like a business. If you start a business, it might grow and it might not. And you might end up saying, oh, okay, I'm earning from this business is less than what I used to earn from a full-time job. So it depends what's the full-time job income. It depends. So you cannot say one is better than the other. For me, it's so much better. But there are some tough times when you feel like you have to accept jobs that are a little bit less than what you used to get paid, but because you're free and you don't have a lot of projects to do for a few months, then you have to accept this job. Sometimes you get doubts and you start to feel, oh, maybe I would have made so much more when you were...
I should start now studio's door or production company doors.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you may ask okay, I should go to employee again? Or
Sometimes you start to doubt it. Like, should I go and get hired full time and just get a fixed income every month? Sometimes you question yourself, but that's normal. That's part of the journey. That's part of being a freelancer, to doubt yourself and to keep looking and to push yourself to get more projects and to connect to more people, and it's fun. It pays off eventually.
Yeah, I think like one of the things is when you are an employee. For example, in my case, I don't have to worry about sales. I don't have to worry about pitching to the clients. I don't have to worry about the logistic of how the jobs coming to us. So all that is done for the company. The companies know in the industry, and the people call
they have their own
offer jobs. So they have their own clients, and you work for the clients of the company.
Yeah,
and you have to worry about that. But being a freelancer, you grow more as a business because you have to do all these tasks that being employed you don't have to touch. So you have to do marketing for yourself. You have to sell yourself. You have to accounting, very important. Accounting, taxes. There is a lot of. So you should know how to do your work properly. So you have to know the art and the craft and all that. But on top of that, you will need to know the business side of the thing. So the accounting, the logistic, and the marketing, and the sales, and
you have to do all the tasks of a company basically by yourself. You can definitely ask help or hire someone to help you in accounting, but if you're gonna start slow as a freelancer, you have to learn how to do it by yourself. Even if you hire someone to do it for you, you should be able to know how to evaluate their work. Because you cannot just trust anybody to do anything for you, something for you. You need to know if they did it right or wrong, and to evaluate it, you need to know how it happens. And that will lead me to the cons, because we mentioned the pros of being a freelancer, but we didn't mention the cons. The cons is the size of responsibility that you will have on your shoulders, and it does not work for everyone. If you're someone in your personality, if you have this urge to be responsible and you enjoy managing your stuff together, then it fits you. But if you're someone who just feel it's too much for you, it's overwhelming to chase a client and then handle the accounting and then to follow up with the communication and then to handle the creative tasks and then to deliver on time, it's a lot of work. So in a company, you have a different person to do each one of those. And when you're a freelancer, you have to do all. So if you don't have that personality of of wanting to do all of those things, then it might not be the thing for you. And plus, one of the main cons of being a freelancer is it's a little bit stressful when you have a lot of payment and you don't have enough jobs to cover it. So you will start to get stressed, and that's one of the things that you need to know how to handle emotionally, and just trust that things will go well, and just to be patient, and work more on bringing more projects. And that happens to me every year, actually, when like work start to slow down and I don't do jobs for like 2-3 months, and I start to get nervous because I have bills to pay.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I get like 3-4 projects at the same time, which is which brings me back to the belief that, oh, everything is going well, my network is good,
Yeah.
so let's keep moving. And I learned over the years to use this time as a break time for me to rest, to develop myself, to work on my health a little bit better, because your health is everything when you're a freelancer. You should pay extra care on your health and not overburn yourself with work, or sit on a bad chair all the time, or not to work out, because your health is number one when you're a freelancer. If you're healthy, you can deliver on time and focus, quality, everything. If you're not, then your career is at risk. You have to live with that stress when you don't have jobs at that moment, and just try to be positive and work your way out of it. That's one of the challenges of being a freelancer. Also, one of the cons of being a freelancer is isolation, because when you work from home as a freelancer, you'll be isolated from
the external world. Yeah.
Yeah. And this a little bit, you need to work on this a little bit to keep your social life, to keep meeting people, because isolation can make you disturbed sometimes. And it's a little bit more fun to work with an environment where there's people around you, rather than working home alone. It might sound fun at the beginning, when you work home alone, when you can listen to music, you'll not bother anybody. But at some point, if you do it for months, you start to feel like you need to meet people. So you need to keep in mind making some effort to socialize with people, and to go out and to meet with people, because with a lot of work you can get really depressed at home. The last point is you need to be really, really patient with clients. You cannot lose your temper, because you will have all kind of clients. Clients who are late with payments, clients who are tough handling you. You need to train them how to deal with you. You have clients who doesn't know exactly what kind of skills you have, so they will start to throw different tasks on you. So you need to know how to set your boundaries and say,
the scope of the
this is not my task, this is not my skill, I cannot do this, because every client will want to take everything out of you, even things that you don't know. They will try to throw it at you and see how you react about it. Some people will not mind doing it. Like one time I got a client who asked me to do a sound editing for a voiceover, and I've never done sound editing before, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I was like, why? It's so simple. I was like, it doesn't matter if it's simple or not. It's not something I do. It's not something I want to do, or it's not something that I do. You know, my set of skills, you give me things that I can do within my set of skills.
You hired me for a reason, no?
This exactly. And they got pissed a little bit, and they start to apply all kind of pressure on you, but that's fine. You have to set your boundaries well. You have to know how to set your boundaries without disrespecting anybody, being professional, being just being solid in what you want and what you don't want.
Transparent.
That's very important, and that's one of the main challenges also being a freelancer. Because a lot of people will fall into the trap of feeling guilty or of upsetting the client. Oh no, I don't want to. I should just say yes because I don't want them to be upset. Well, they will not be upset if it's, first of all, if it's right and if it's true and if it's the right thing to do. And if you're honest and being polite and soft, of course, not being rigid and disrespectful. Of course, you have to be respectful and decent. And when you use that kind of language, they will listen and you will get what you want. Nobody will refuse a soft, respectful approach. So that's one of the challenges, and you have to have that in your personality, and you have to learn it on the way. And because I also see a lot of people who gets triggered really quickly.
They're angry.
And gets angry on the client, and they shout at the client, and they disrespect the client, which sometimes maybe they're right, but you cannot react this way. This is not the right way. And I know someone who tried to work with me who was really stiff with me, that I felt like I'm working for him, not he's working for me.
Client or
no? There's another freelancer who I tried to hire him to help me. And he started to talk to me in a way that I felt like I'm working for him, not he's working for me. Giving me like guidance, giving me direction, disrespecting me in a way. And I was like, no, I cannot. Even if you're the best animator in the world, I cannot work with you if you don't know your position and my position. So it's very important also to know your position and where you are and what you can ask and what you cannot. That's one of the cons of being a freelancer. You have to have all this knowledge and the character, and you can learn this on the way. I remember when I was a full-timer, I remember a lot of times that we get really, really terrible requests from the client, and I get those requests from the producer, not from the client directly. So I remember complaining a lot, like how they asked this. And I asked the producer, did you tell them that this is not possible and this is not going to work? And the producer, because he's not an animator, he will say, no, I didn't tell them, because he doesn't know how to discuss with them. He just received the task, the request, and he will just pass it to me. And now I get the chance to speak to the client directly, which has become a pro.
You just save so much time.
So you save so much time, and you can set your rules, and you can set the direction of where the project is going. So that's also, so it becomes, when you have the skill to discuss and convince the client with your point of view, it becomes actually one of the good things about being a freelancer, because you will get to set your own rules, and that's awesome. That's a good thing.
We talk about a lot now about freelancing, and let's assume that somebody decided to jump on the freelancer train, and now they are a freelancer, and say, perfect, I have my savings, I can take care of my family, or I just learned a lot for these 2 years in the company. I'm a fresh graduate, I gained some experience, I'm then ready to go freelancer, and now I'm a freelancer. Let's assume that. So now this person is a freelancer. The first question is, how you gain clients? So you have your networks, but how you gain clients, how you attract?
If you are moving from a full-timer to a freelancer, your first client is going in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, your first client will be your previous company, the company that you used to work with.
You finish it in good relationship.
So end the work relationship between you and your company in a good way. So because they will need to hire you,
and that should be the way, right? Like
because think about it, it's so convenient to hire someone that you know,
Exactly.
and you know their set of skills, and you know what's their expectations, you know how they deal with you, you know their personalities, you already have a chemistry with them. It's easier to work with them rather than just hiring someone that you don't know completely. So they will, and also they don't have to test you before you start the project. They will give you the project immediately.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, because a lot of clients, they need to see your work first and evaluate and to question if you can do the job or not before they give you the job. If your previous company will directly give you the job. So that's your first client. So keep a good relationship with your previous company. The second thing is, and I cannot stress this enough, be present online. It's so important, and you can't imagine how many people with really high skills that I see, they still don't have a showreel or work online. You can't imagine.
When you say present online, I want you, if you can give me like a specific site,
Vimeo,
platform.
Vimeo,
Okay.
YouTube, Instagram are the top three. Facebook becoming less important nowadays, but also like if you can be anywhere, TikTok, anywhere, just be present there. Just have your work out there. Spend some time. It's the most boring work maybe for a lot of people, including me, just to prepare a show reel and to put it work together and put it online, and it's very time consuming, but it's very important. And once you do it, it becomes easier, you know, to post one project after the other and keep updating it. This is so important. People will not find you there, but definitely people will share your link between each other. And I'll give you an example. Someone will come to you and ask you about an animator, and I will come to your mind.
Yeah.
The first thing this person will ask you is, can I see his work? And if you know that I'm active online and you know that I have an account on Instagram, you will immediately say, yeah, I'll show you his work. And it's so easy to reach my account and send it to him. So and he will follow me, and he might recommend me to someone else. So it's easy to show who I am or my work.
You're making it
between people.
easy for the people to find you first.
Exactly.
And then you're making it easy to the network that you have to share your work easily.
Yeah.
So it's like you're putting an advertising everywhere, and the people can find you anywhere. So.
Exactly. So be easy to find. This is how I can say it. Be easy to find, and that means on the main platforms. So it's very important to do marketing for yourself, and you do that by not saying no to a project. And so and what I mean by that is, like, if you just started and you need projects to do, and you will get someone to approach you and, hey, I need you to do this task for me. If it's within your task, your set of skills, you might feel like it's a little bit underpaid. But accepting this job, even if it's a little bit low pay, accepting this job, doing it well, and delivering it on time, it's part of your marketing.
You open the relationship.
Exactly.
With the client.
So if you think about this, so if you say yes to this project, you'll get the chance to meet the people. They'll get the chance to know your work. And when you deliver it, this client already knows you. And that means that this client can potentially bring you another job, or this client can recommend you to another clients. Plus you have something to post on your social media. So it's very important to not to say no to a project, which is a mistake I see with a lot of people who just started. They will start arguing about the money, which is important. But when you're starting, sometimes the value of the network and the client and the material that you're going to post online is worth a little bit more than you think. So you might want to drop your price a little bit just to give the chance for this project to come. Because once it comes, it will bring all of this package with it, which is the network, the client, you will be more known. So this is one of the main important ways to get more jobs. Knowing how to price your project is also is a skill that you need to learn and modify on the way, because asking too much is risky, and asking way less is also
You're
too
leaving
risky.
money on the table.
Yeah, and it's also not good, because sometimes the client will know how much it will cost, and if they will see you ask way less, they will feel like you don't know what you're doing, and they will panic. So yeah, those are the ways to bring more jobs.
So, okay, let me see if I understand everything. So, first, have a presence online.
Yeah,
it's a way to the clients know you and find you.
yeah,
Then your employee is gonna be one of the main source at the beginning of bringing you a job. So it's gonna be one of the main clients. It's gonna be almost the first client.
yeah.
You will have other clients for the people that know you.
Yeah.
Maybe you can reach out to people that know you in network. Say, I'm a freelancer now. I'm available for work.
Yeah,
Throw me everything you have.
yeah,
And let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is so you have presence online, the people can find you, and the people that you know, so your network can recommend you with this project that you have, the show reel, the demo reel, and maybe renders, and maybe in Instagram, stuff like that. And the other thing is don't say no to the projects that can bring you more projects. So you will have the chance to meet more clients, new people that can recommend your work, see your work, have a taste of your work and your ability, your skills, and from then you create a new relationship and you expand your network.
Yeah, and I can add also one of the ways that one of my friends, he's a cinematographer. He started his career as a camera guy, and now he's more like a DOP, director of photography or something. It's interesting how he started, because he used to join projects for free. When he started, he was like, he was just helping people, and he was joining short films and doing the project for free, completely for free. And after he got like 20 projects, doing them for free, he had something to show to people, and people started to know him. And then he started to get more projects, paid projects, and now his income is amazing, and he's very popular. So that's also one of the ways to do marketing for yourself. You can post your own project, or you can join projects for publicity. Join this project for completely free, and I do that sometimes when I have free time. I join a project for completely for free, just to get more connections through this project, especially projects when it requires me to go on set, on a filming set, when you get to meet the people and to communicate with them.
The next question is how to deal with unprofessional clients.
Unprofessional clients, I would say they are the clients who doesn't know how to keep their boundaries with you when they talk to you, and they don't respect your time. They don't respect that you are a person who needs to rest. They call you in the middle of the night or very early in the morning. You try to say that I don't work. Let's say if you don't work on Fridays, on weekends, Sundays, Saturdays, and they still push you to work during this time. For me, this is unprofessional behavior. Clients also who don't keep their promises with payments, especially, and that's also very annoying, and that's unprofessional. So to deal with it, it's all about setting your boundaries and setting your rules. Again, gently, respectfully, but precisely and clearly. For example, if you have the rule of getting a down payment before you start, which you should get a down payment. If you let's say I will start only after your 50% down payment, and if they agree on that, you expect them to pay in the next, let's say, 2 days, as they promised. But then when 4 days passes and you don't get paid yet, and you're under pressure of starting the project because you have a tight deadline. At that point, you need to be really tough about it, because Nobody knows. Maybe they are not going to pay. Maybe they're trying to manipulate it. Maybe they are, or maybe the process will take longer. So you just need to communicate and talk. And for me, if a client doesn't know when your payment is gonna be delivered, that's an unprofessional behavior. They should at least give you an expectation of the time, between 5 to 10 days, between 2 to 3 days. And when they don't know that, that's for me unprofessional behavior. The way to deal with it is to try to clarify that you're not gonna start before the payment is settled, and or at least a proof of the payment that's been processed. The other behavior of unprofessional clients will be like calling you in your rest time, which is like, let's say if you tell them I work until 8 and they call you like 10 p.m. Or they call you during your weekend, or when you clearly say I don't work in this day and they call you, well, it's up to you then. Some people, they don't mind answering those calls. I do mind. I don't respond to calls after 10 o'clock. That's completely unprofessional for me. So the way to deal with it is that you just easily don't respond, and the next day you call the first thing in the morning and say, hi, I saw your call today, sorry I don't respond to calls after 8 o'clock. You just set your boundaries. And it's very important that you don't feel shy about it and you don't feel bad about it. You can set your boundaries as long as you're saying it respectfully and nicely.
The thing is, when you are a freelancer, you are out there and you're meeting all sorts of people.
Yeah.
And at some point you will face this kind of behavior, or maybe there is something that you don't like and you have to talk about it openly.
Yeah.
And then set your boundaries.
Yeah.
And with respect, decline if you want to continue with the project or not.
Yeah.
Based on the relationship that you have with the client. So it's very important to we go back to like people relationships, like respect each other.
Yeah.
I would like to add like the projects. A project is just a task. It's not you. You are not the project. So sometimes the client can mess up. Like if the project is bad, you are bad, or they can try to blend the two things.
Yeah.
And the project cannot meet the expectation of the client for many reasons.
Yeah.
But doesn't have to be because you are a bad person, or you lack on the skills, or you lack on
it's not personal
responsibilities. There is a lot of reasons that can affect the quality of the deadline of the project.
Yeah.
It's not always your fault, it's not always the freelancer fault.
Yeah.
And you need to separate you from the project.
Yeah.
And also how you take, for example, feedback that is more personal feedback instead of the project,
Oh yeah, that happens a lot when
Is it an open wound?
yeah, it's a closed wound. So it's very important to encourage the client to give you a constructive feedback. A lot of clients will not know how to give you the feedback, and they will go more into, I don't like this work, it looks low quality, it looks I don't like the colors. All those comments are vague, and they're not clear, and they are not constructive. What you need to hear is about, can you change this color to blue instead of red? Can we try a different color, like lighter tone or darker tone? Can we try a different style closer to a reference that they will send you? This is what kind of feedback that you will want to seek. So when the client tells you, I didn't like this work, it looks low quality, you will have to be calm and patient and ask, what do you think that makes it look like low quality?
Yeah.
And start to dig more to the feedback that is useful for you.
Translation to what action I should take for that kind of comment is like filter that information and guide the client to tell you exactly
Yeah.
what it is what they want to change.
Yeah. And the more professional the client is, the easier the feedback will be to you. The clients who are already in the industry and they know how it goes, they will give you a very specific, direct comments like, remove this line, change this color to darker colored, and that's the easiest scenario, which doesn't happen all the time. Most of the time you'll get people who will be like, I don't like this, or I don't feel it's beautiful, I need something more creative. This kind of comments, it kills me. Like, I need something more creative. What is more creative?
Yeah.
So, but it's fine. You can receive those comments and with an open mind and ask more questions. And once you start to ask more questions, you will help the client to find what's wrong with what they're looking for in your work. And that's very important. I know people who I used to do that maybe more than anybody. I used to take feedback personally, and I know people they still take feedback personally, and they get pissed about it. You have to remember that the client, at the end of the day, they want their work to be as per their expectations. And you have to be easygoing with them, and you have to listen and to be as open as possible, and to try to dig to know what's the client didn't like. Sometimes the client will not like the font of your animation, and they will be like, I don't like the whole animation, it doesn't look good. And once you change that font, the client will be like, wow, it looks 100 times better. And I have this, I mean, you had this a lot, I think, more than anybody. Like, oh, the animation, it looks terrible. And then it's only about the font. When you change the font, everything becomes better. So the client way of explaining to you is very important. And it's very, very important for you also to be patient and dig for the information that's useful for you.
The producer can help you a lot for your employee, filtering this kind of things. So the producer knows the client, and they have some knowledge about because sometimes the client doesn't have like the words to describe what is the thing that they want, and the producer are very good filtering it. I mean,
terminologies.
If it is a good producer, a big email from the client saying that something is not right, they don't like, and giving any like a practical take of action of what they exactly don't like, or you can translate it to, we need to change the font or the color of the font, and that will solve the whole thing. And it's a big email, but you need to, or the producer or whatever is managing the project, have to go through everything, say, okay, they don't like this for this reason, that translate to change the font, change the color, problem solved. It's crazy how this works, you know, like.
And it's a task by itself.
Exactly, it takes
and it's a skill. And to become a freelancer, you have to learn how to do this. It's one of the essential skills for you to know how to translate and to absorb the client's comments and not to take it personally, and to try to translate it to words, to constructive comments that you can change, you can apply to your work. That's also very important.
Now let's talk about money. This is a good subject. So let's talk about the process of payment. So let's say that you get the gig, you get the job, somebody called you, potential client called you, say, I love your work, I want to work with you, and this is the project. Let's start.
First of all, you need to evaluate how much money you need to ask for this project. And this is always tricky. The price, the cost. So this is always tricky, and still tricky, and it's gonna be always tricky because it's very, in this area, a lot of people will ask you to do a task that they don't know how much time it's gonna take, and they don't know what it is most of the times. So there are ways to try to estimate the cost of it, but it will never hit 100%. So the way to do it is to evaluate how much time you think this job will take, and then increase it a little bit, and then quote for this. Now, how to quote for a project, how to price a project, it depends on many things. Your level of experience, your expenses, and the market price for the skill that you're delivering, and the how much time you're gonna spend on this job, and when is this time? Is it during? Are you doing 24 hours? Are you doing weekends? So obviously the time that you're gonna spend on the weekend doing the job is much more expensive than the time you're gonna do during the day. To estimate a cost for your project, I think first of all you ask around. You ask your friends, you ask the industry. Don't ask your client. Don't ask your client, and this is the wrong approach, and I see a lot of people doing it. When a client will come to you and ask you how much you're gonna quote for this job, and you say how much is your budget, that's the worst. It's very dodgy, and it's the worst way to approach a client.
Right.
Like, how much money you have for this job? Of course he will not tell you how much money he has for this job, or he will smash his price in half, because he's not gonna tell you for a job that's cost 1,000. He's not gonna tell you my budget is 3,000. He might be willing to pay 3,000, but he'll never tell you 3,000. And if you ask how much is your budget, that will show that you don't know how much to cost how much to evaluate your job, your work. You must not ever ask the client how much is your budget. This question can only be asked after you give your price. So first you give your price, and if the client does not agree with that price, then you ask how much is your budget, and then you try to meet in the middle. Maybe that's the negotiation process happens. But never start with asking the client how much your budget.
Yeah, but so what you're saying, if I understand well, is you ask the right question, you try to figure out what the client wants, if you can do it, and then if you feel okay, I can find a way to deliver this thing that the client wants. Now let me estimate how long it will take me to do that, because it's gonna be my skills, my experience. So maybe somebody else can do it faster or better, or maybe another person have already the process, but the client calls you for a reason, because they know you, they trust you, and they have seen you past work, so you are the one. And then you decide it will take, for example, this amount of days, let's say 1 week, but this is roughly because you don't know the implications of the complication that can be when you are doing the task. And then you put on top of that like a buffer to be safe. Okay, let's say 2 or 3 days more. I'm talking about this example of a week. Maybe it's a 1 month project, and then you need like a 15 days more, to be
like
safe.
20%.
20%. That's perfect. Yeah, 20% of the project of the time, and then you quote for that, and you have to decide. This is the amount of time that I will take. Now, we're talking about time.
But how do you price this time?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, it all comes to how much your expenses are. The best way to quote it's different factors. It's different elements that you combine together to get your own price. Let's say, first of all, you ask around how much people are getting paid for this. And if you feel like you need to ask for more because you have more, you can deliver a special kind of service. You can deliver on time, on a shorter time, then your price goes up. It's all about negotiating with the client, but you will never ask for less than your daily expenses. So if you're giving a price per day, let's say, so this task will take you 1 day to do, and 1 day is always 8 hours. 8 to 10 hours. You be flexible. So 8 hours to 10 hours to finish this job. How much is your daily rate? Your daily rate is between 8 to 10 hours, never more than 10 hours. Very, very special cases when you have to push a little bit more, but don't burn yourself for more than 10 hours a day, because that means it will affect the next day, and you cannot do your next day task properly. So always code for only 8 to 10 hours. So to code this, first of all, you calculate your expenses. How much is your daily expenses? And I think everybody knows how to do that.
You mean your
house,
personal
food,
expenses?
Yes, house, food, a little bit of entertainment, the basics, like your car, if you have a family, your kids, your family food, your bills, your utilities. You calculate that, and you get a number, and you say, I will never ask less than this number. Now, some people, they double this number, and some people, they triple this number. I don't think there's a right or wrong approach for this, but I would say this amount should not exceed, the minimum amount should not exceed the market price for this task. And to know the market price for this task, don't ask Google. It's not there. This information is not there. Ask people. Try to dig. You will search and you will find. You'll find a lot of people who can give you prices about this. So when you find that price, then you can say, oh, okay, this price is way much more than my daily expenses. Then I can reduce a little bit to get more jobs. Or I can encourage this specific client to
pay more for that kind of thing.
To bring more projects in the future. So so I would say just always go a little bit higher. And by a little bit higher, I mean 20%, 30% higher, and leave a room for negotiation. If the client is serious and they really want to do the job, either with you or someone else, they will always negotiate. So don't be afraid to ask a little bit more. Don't go crazy with the price. Don't ask, if your, let's say your cost of living is 500 dirhams every day, don't go for 5,000 with a client. Ask for, let's say, 1,500 as the job. If you want to push it a little bit more, ask for 2,000, but already keep in the back of your head that you are ready to go a little bit down, but not less than 1,500. So always keep a margin to negotiate with. And that negotiation, if it didn't happen, don't worry, because that means the client is not serious, or the client is not going to do this job with you or with anybody. All the clients will come back. Serious clients will come back and negotiate with you. Rely on that.
And negotiation means that they are interested to it, because already they're spending time.
Exactly. And when they negotiate, it needs to be reasonable. So they cannot say, if you ask for, let's say, 2,000, they cannot come to you and say, my budget is 500. That's less than quarter. That's around quarter the price. You cannot go that far. Sometimes that's a little bit disrespectful, but you need to know how to negotiate your way out of it. So if the job is completely not worth it, don't do it. Sometimes I prefer when the budget of projects is like this, and I find it's an interesting project. Sometimes I even say, you know what, let's do it for free, and I will sponsor your project, and I will put it in my show reel. I do this sometimes when a client doesn't have a budget, but they have a really interesting project for me to do.
And this is like a marketing. We come back to marketing.
Yes, and it's also part of your marketing campaign. Of course, it doesn't have to affect your current projects that you get paid for. You have to have the time to do it on the side. If you don't have the time, then you should say no.
Yes, common sense.
Yeah.
So let me summarize, if I understand, correct me if I'm wrong.
So we quoted for the project now. We found the price. Right?
We found the price.
Yeah.
We quote the project. We have a baseline. It's gonna be different for everybody. The amount of expenses that they have, life expenses, family expenses, cost of the project. So you have to spend money to to be able to do this project, maybe you have to buy assets or invest in deploying or stuff like that. So
software, hardware.
So yeah, you need to take all that in consideration, and you have your baseline.
Yeah.
In top of that, you need a buffer because things can go wrong.
Yes.
Life is super interesting in that way. You need a buffer. All the companies may go. So 20%, 30% is up to you. And then it's another skill that the freelancer should have. And I think that everybody should have, because you have to negotiate with your kids, with your husband, with your wife.
Yeah.
You need to negotiate in life to get to the point that you want to reach.
Yeah.
And it's another skill that the freelancer should have.
Accounting.
And then accounting as well. So you have to be good and fast with numbers. You don't have to go very crazy, but you need to have in mind numbers.
Yeah, the basic.
And see how much the client needs you, and how serious is to get this project done. And that takes me to the next question, that is, okay, the client say yes, you negotiate it, you agree with the price, you send a quotation.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Okay, right.
Knowing how to write a quotation is also something important, because
okay,
a lot of freelancers, they don't even send a quotation or an invoice, and that's something very important, because they think, oh, I'm a freelancer, I would just ask for the number on the phone. You need a legal proof that they accepted your price, and to do that you have to write a professional quotation, and that's not difficult at all. Writing quotation, you can just Google a template, quotation template, and you'll find a quotation. You describe the task that you're gonna do as good as you can. You put a serial number for your quotation, and you put your price, and you send it to the client. You put the client details, you put your details, and you send it, you email it to the client, and you make sure that the client will reply to your email saying your quotation is approved. Now, this is the minimum, is to reply to your quotation.
You do not start the project until the client approves your quotation.
Yes, don't start the project before your client approves the quotation, and make sure that they see it. The best is to get something called LPO, which is local purchase order, which is the document that says that we company X need this person to do the job for us for this amount of money. This is a very strong legal document that you can use to guarantee your right. And all the companies who can issue this document, that means your payment is 90% guaranteed. So if you can get that, it's great. In this country, I didn't have to do this, to ask for this document a lot. And it's like, I would say in 20% of the cases, I can get an LPO, but not in all cases. But I am not so picky about getting that document, but I'm picky about getting the email, the reply of your quotation was approved, please go ahead. So this is the first step you need to do after you figure your price. Now, the second step is the down payment. I encourage everyone to ask for a down payment. Down payment actually can tell you a lot about your client. The down payment is good because it gives you the first push to start your project. If you need to buy some content, or if you need to buy some hardware for this project, and also it proves that the client is serious, because there are a lot of clients who will be like, well, why you don't trust us, we're gonna pay you, of course we're gonna pay you. That's all bullshit. They need to agree on
actions.
They need to agree on it, because there is no reason not to agree on it. Why not? And if they start to try to get away without it, I would highly recommend not to work with this client, because it's a natural part of any job. It's normal, everybody's doing it. So if someone feels like it's strange, it's just trying to manipulate you, try to make you feel bad because you asked for the 50% down payment. And that down payment doesn't have to be 50%. It could be 30%, could be 20%, could be any amount that you discuss with the client about. But never feel shy to ask for your down payment. Never feel shy about it. Now, there are very, very special cases when I had to skip the down payment because of the company's rules, the companies that I'm working with. But when they don't pay down payment, they give me an LPO, the document that guarantees that I'm gonna get paid. So it's either LPO or down payment. So if your first line security is the down payment, if it's not exist, you have to raise your bar with more documents that secures your payment. And there's nothing wrong about asking about it. There's nothing wrong of chasing it, because I get this a lot. I see a lot of freelancers who made this mistake. They just take the word of mouth and they start the job, and then suddenly something happens, and things go wrong, and they will never get paid. So yeah, you have to be very careful about this. So once you get the email and the 50% down payment, or 30%, or let's say the down payment, then you're gonna start the job. Sometimes I start the job before I get the down payment, but I know for sure it's under process.
Maybe it's a client that you already know, you
Yes,
trust.
that's a very important point, because if it's a client that you already know, you already built a bridge of trust between both of you. So you might want to give some time to the client to skip the down payment, to delay the down payment, or even to skip it.
So now the next question is,
So now what
we got the activation payment.
Okay.
So let's say 50%. So the ideal in the ideal world is you get to the client, you send the quotation, they approve it, they send you an IPO, and they also give you the down payment, say 50% of down payment.
Yeah.
This is what percentage of your jobs you ask for a down payment and you get it instead of the LPO?
95% of the projects I get the 50% down payment.
Nice. With a client that you already know, or for new clients?
Any client. Like it's kind of a rule for me to do 50% down payment.
If they don't provide that, you don't start.
I don't start the project until I make sure that they're gonna pay a 50% down payment.
Okay. And how you make sure that?
That's a good question. Well, first of all, if it's a client that you've done projects with before. Second, it's you get the sense of it. You over time you start to develop this feeling that you can trust this client or not.
Because of the conversation you have with them, the emails that they send?
The conversation, the email, their attitude towards your question, your request of 50%. How did they respond to that? Did they feel it's weird? Were they welcoming the 50% down payment? You'll get the sense of how they feel about it.
Because at the end of the day, you are helping them to make money, you're helping your client to make money.
At the end of the day, yes.
You are working for the clients of your clients. So if they pay you the 50%, it means they will receive the cost of the project. So what they build to the final client, when they deliver the project.
Definitely. It's a loop and you're part of it. Exactly. And there is no reason why the client wouldn't ask for 50% down payment. It's not your problem if they get paid or not. If it's a company, a production company, a post-production company, whatever, they are hiring a freelancer, they should be ready for the cost of the freelancer. They shouldn't be waiting to get paid until they pay you.
So they should have like a
system.
A system in place that they can have a buffer of
production cost
to deal with the cost of freelancer, no matter what project they have online.
No matter. And this is why it's a company. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why it's not a person. If it's company that's gonna wait for money to comes in until they pay, I mean,
It sounds more like a person, like a,
it doesn't seem like it doesn't sound like a very successful company who just who they don't know how to manage their finance.
yeah. And sadly, sometimes happen.
It does, but as long as you did all those steps that we spoke about, you're safe.
Let's say you already delivered the project and it was amazing. They're very happy. The client's super happy with the
Yeah.
with the client with a project that you delivered,
Okay.
and now they approve it, they like it, and now there is a delay in payment. How you deal with that? So the other, let's say the other 50%.
So you delivered and you're waiting for your next check.
Yes, the final check. The
Okay. Here when it comes a little bit sometimes ugly because yeah.
Not tricky. Only we went to the next.
Yeah. Sometimes I would say the golden advice in this case, just be patient and consistent. Follow up, email, call, WhatsApp. Speak to the person who knows when your payment is coming, and if this person doesn't know, ask for the other person. Ask who knows when the payment is happening, and ask for their numbers or email and follow up with that. Following up is very important. And follow up consistently. Like if the payment is supposed to be delivered in 2 weeks and it didn't happen, then start every couple of or every 3 days, drop an email following up your payment. Now, it almost never happened to me when the client doesn't pay the second payment, because when you make sure all the first steps are done, there's like very, very minor possibility of the client will not fulfill the second payment unless there's an issue with the project. But delayed, yes, it's been delayed for a lot of time. My advice in this case is just stay respectful, be reasonable with your pressure, and seek for the time, like how long or when you're gonna pay the second payment. Ask this
for
question.
That. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Try to seek.
When?
Okay. Now you didn't pay it. When are you going to pay it? And if they tell you we cannot give you an exact timing, say fine. Not exact time, approximate time. When are you going to deliver?
Yeah.
And and that's that. In that way, I guaranteed most of my second payments. Yeah.
How you track all your projects, because you have a lot of projects.
Very good question. It's very important to have everything written in a way that you choose. You can invest in a fancy app like QuickBooks or FreshBooks or those apps that you can put your invoices and quotations in it. Or you can do your Excel sheet where you have your project, which is the way I started. I started with an Excel sheet that can make a PDF out of it. I have the payments there, down payments there, and name of the clients, the contact details, and all of that. It's very important to keep those data in a small system that you can create on Excel sheet or any way you want, but have it written all the time and keep it updated. Don't forget how to do it. Don't forget to update it.
Yeah.
Now I reached to a point that I built my own system. So I have my own app that I developed. I hired someone to develop this app for me. Yeah. And in this app, I can keep track on all the payments, the delayed payments. I can generate invoices and apps and invoices and quotations, and have all the clients' details there. If I have someone who's working with me on a project, helping me, I also have outsource budget filled for there. So I also keep track on people who needs payments from me. And it's very important to invest in this kind. Completely worth it.
It's amazing. Like So you identify the process that you have to go through for every project. You
Yeah.
have to send the quotation, you have to decide what is the price that you're going to charge for that kind of task, and then you have to keep the information of the client, and then you have to get the 50% down payment, and then you have keep track of what they own you, or the client own you, the company, and then you have to follow up with them to see if they pay you or not.
Yeah.
And you have to keep track because you can have many projects from the same client, and at some point everything is blended and projects can be named the same because are similar, or it's repeated tasks, let's say an episode, a series of episodes, and they are from the same client.
Yeah.
It's very interesting the solution that you find. So you hire a developer and they build an application for you that solves the entire process of
Yeah.
your looking. In the process of a get paid, so there is 3 documents that are involved in the process. One is the quotation, the invoice, and the receipt.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
The quotation is the one you send to say this is how much my services costs, and if they approve it, then you want to get the 50% or 30% down payment. Then you send an invoice with the described amount of how much money you need to receive and on the down payment.
And your bank account on the
And my bank account details, yes. The quotation does not have your bank account details. The invoice should, because it's the document that will lead them how much they will pay and how they will pay it. And then the second payment, the third, on the last payment, the other payments, also each one of them needs to have an invoice.
And it is your responsibility to send that to a client.
It's your responsibility, definitely, to send that to the client.
If you forget that, you don't want to get paid.
Exactly. If you don't send your invoice, you will not get paid for most of the clients. And there are some few clients who will be not so picky about the documents and the paperwork. I would say always do it. Always do it. There are a lot of templates also online that you can fill as invoices. You can fill and you can generate a PDF and send it. It takes you 5 minutes. Just do it all the time. And the receipt is the paper that you generate when you receive a payment. You generate a document that has all the invoice information, plus that watermark, like paid or whatever.
Yeah, is the proof for the company that you received the payment.
That you received the payment. And there are also a lot of templates.
Sometimes the client regenerate that for you, and you have to go there and sign like a. Is it
no, they don't generate a receipt. No, it needs to be generated from you.
Okay.
Well, if you will hire them, then they will send you an invoice. But invoice is generated from the side that needs to get paid.
Okay, and the receipt is for the part that got paid, and it's approved from the client that they got paid.
Yes.
And they will ask for that from you.
Some of them will ask, some of them will not, because since it's a wire transfer, if they will do a wire transfer,
so they have track of that.
So yeah, they have a proof already of that you got paid.
If they have
if they'll give you a check or something, then yes, they might need a proof that you received.
And what do you prefer? They pay you a check or they pay you wire transfer?
Well, I don't think anybody is paying check anymore because it's so much headache. Wire transfer is the best way, and I think everybody is going in that direction. I haven't received a check for a very long time. Yeah.
Cool.
And check also has the chance of being rejected. There's a wrong signature or the wrong name, or yeah.
Well, okay, I think that's all. Thank you so much, Sameh, for joining us today and give us advice about the freelancer world, how it works, and all the pros and cons, and yeah, any advice that you want to with when you want to finish this interview.
Well, it's an interesting journey. If it matches your personality and your lifestyle, and if this is the lifestyle you're seeking, go for it. It's a really interesting journey, and it pays off. In the creative industry, there are very few people here in the UAE are doing this for freelancing for full time. So there is the demand. I encourage everybody to do it, and yeah, and I'm happy to answer all the questions.
Okay. If you
the
have more
comments.
questions, please put it down below in the comments, and see you in the next video. Thank you.